Carolyn Dube here, and I have got October's colorful jelly print party for you. I am starting out with this very hard to find tool called cardboard. This is the back of a legal pad of paper that I'd finished using up, and I am going to now use some Tulip Slick dimensional fabric paint to very carefully and precisely put a pattern on here. It's very important that whatever happens, happens. Notice the paint just kind of splottered? It won't make any difference with this. I am just randomly putting squiggles all over the place, wherever it makes me happy. There are no rules with this, and you know I love it when there aren't rules. Just covering it with texture. So I'm going to set that one aside, and now I'm going to grab another piece of cardboard. This one I cut off of a box that I received for something. What I'm going to do is stamp with archival ink. I just want something waterproof just to be safe. And I am going to stamp this Judikins butterfly on here. The funny part is I am like positioning this and trying to make this perfect stamped image. Why, I have no idea. Because it's not going to matter, because I'm going to be covering most of it up. But for some reason I wanted really crisp, perfect stamping with this. Who knows why my mind works the way it does. So now what I'm going to do is just come along with that tulip fabric paint and create outlines for the butterflies. How big the outlines are, how thick the paint is, frankly the thicker the better, and it doesn't have to be precise. Now it's got this kind of fun, handmade, home done kind of look to it that I like. But you don't have to just do big pieces, you can also use little scraps of cardboard and things to make all sorts of patterns or designs. Well, now I've let it dry. I let it dry overnight, and so now I've got my pieces ready to start using with my jelly plate. And for fun, I decided to pull out my little 6x6. I bought that recently, and I have to say, it's fun to work on a different size. I'm used to working on the 8x10 or the 12x14, and so to work on the little one is a lot of fun. What am I printing on? I'm printing on all these envelopes. I found a stash of like 200 or 300 of them in a cabinet because apparently I hoard envelopes. So I'm just going to use those up, and they'll just become fun things to put in the mail to people or work into an art journal page. Who knows what I'll use them for, but basically it's something I have to print on. So I've inked up the plate with paint. I put my texture plate on there that we made with the tulip, and now I'm just going to lift up my envelope, and all those wonderful other colors that were on the jelly plate have pulled up with that paint. Now I'm going to add a little bit of hot pink, and I'm cleaning off in the book that I've got right here, and that way I don't waste any paint. Pulling in the butterfly here, pushing it down as much as I can, and you can see the shape that's on there. I'm going to go right over that with the other envelope, my dirtier envelope with the first print. And now you can see that beautiful outline of that butterfly, but it's the second print, the ghost print, that I really, really loved. So now I just continue the process of putting paint on my jelly plate and using the different textures that I've made. I will say that as the color builds up on the cardboard and on the fabric paint, I have to admit I'm kind of eyeballing those, thinking that especially this butterfly one, that it may get cut up and used in an art journal. So, or on a card, or who knows what, but I've just really began to love the build-up of colors and layers on it. As with anything with the jelly plate, it is all about just that build-up of layers. You keep going, adding things to it. Even if you don't like it at the moment, don't worry, just add some more layers to it. And a huge thank you to everyone who linked up for last month's jelly print party. So many inspiring ideas in there. Seeing how other people are using their jelly plate, the kind of prints that they're getting, and then what they're making with their prints really is inspiring. If you haven't had a chance to check it out, I really recommend that you do. And with this month's party, of course, you will be able to link up all month long anything that you make with your jelly plate. I have the links down below for you, of course, and I do encourage you to come and just see what's there. Leaving those comments for people fuels the creativity in so many ways for so many people. I know it does for me. Every time any one of my videos is shared, when people leave comments, all those types of things absolutely bribe my muse to get me back into the studio and making and creating more. One of the things that I really love about playing with the jelly plate is how forgiving it is. How if I have an oops, that it's really not a big deal. If anything, an oops will lead you to a better print, a more interesting print than if you hadn't made the oops. And I will say that coming up, there's an oops coming. Remember where I said I like to use a lot of paint? Well, that was the amount of paint I would have put like on an 8 by 10 size or a 12 by 14. And I got so much paint on there, I am now trying to get that paint off. There's a lot of paint on that little jelly plate. So the good news about that is I got to cover the other envelope with green paint, and after seeing that dry, I will tell you it's kind of got me thinking about a couple of things. So even though I did put a lot of paint on here, I don't have to waste any of it because I can transfer that around to other places. It's also going to give me a very juicy print, so much so I actually used the same texture plate twice there. And that's going to give me a different look to it than if I just used it once. And I never would have gotten to that without that oops, that outstanding opportunity that presented suddenly. That kind of felt like a mistake at first, but turned out to be something good in the end. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, I'd love it if you'd share it, because you know every time you share it, it's like bribing my muse.